Hey Flames fans, Brad Burud here from Flames Unfiltered. Time for another edition of Flames Shorts. Well, this is a short little snippet of what the Flames have going on as we go down the remainder of the season. With the COVID shutdown and numerous games postponed, it seems like we've been on a break forever. Now we're just finally coming out of the All-Star break, and it is pedal to the metal for the rest of the season for the Calgary Flames. They get back on the ice this Wednesday night at the Saddledome with 7 straight home games. They'll start off with Vegas on Wednesday, Toronto back-to-back when Thursday, so it's a Wednesday-Thursday. Saturday night they get the New York Islanders at home. Then next week they go have a back-to-back with Columbus and Anaheim. Seattle and Winnipeg are the next two opponents to come visit the Saddledome. Calgary will then head out for one game in Vancouver, so a short trip back home for another one against Minnesota. That's a busy schedule. And that's against some tough opponents to start off, especially the Vegas and Toronto. That should be some 2 interesting games later this week. Some benefits, though, to what we have left for the season is Calgary has no more games in the Eastern time zone. Not something that any other team can play. 20 of their next 27 are at home, which is a ridiculous amount, probably more than any other team has ever had in the history based off all these postponements that we had. In March, Calgary will play 16 games, 4 road, 12 home, 6 against Eastern Conference opponents, 6 against Pacific Division opponents, and 3 back-to-backs. They back that up in April with 15 games, 9 on the road, 6 at home, 0 against Eastern Conference teams, 7 against Pacific Division, so really division heavy, and 3 back-to-backs in April, just like they had in March. So it's how are they going to balance those back-to-backs? Can we get good goaltending from Vladar? Will Markstrom go back-to-back, which I wouldn't doubt if we don't see Markstrom against Vegas and Toronto this week, and then see Vladar against the Islanders on Saturday night. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The Flames currently sit in the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Now, needless to say, they're short on games because of the postponements. They're going to be gradually making those up as we go. They've played 42 games. They're 23, 13, and 6, 52 points, a point percentage of .619. Pretty darn good. They're projected to get 101.5 points. That'll definitely get you into the playoffs. But this schedule is going to be really interesting to see how the Flames manage it and how they come out of this. There's 40 games remaining. 18 of those 40 are against playoff teams currently. They're teams that are currently in a playoff spot, 18 of them. But there's some really difficult matches coming up. The Vegas-Toronto back-to-back stands out. This week is so important. Now, we went into this All-Star break on a roll. This team was confident. Their team was playing good. They've had some really good outings of late. And so confidence is high in Calgary. I'm feeling really good about this team right now. But 2 losses to Vegas and Toronto this week changes everything again. And this team, maybe it's not the team. Maybe the fan base is really volatile. And the team has been a little bit more resilient this year than in previous years. And that's a good sign. It'll be interesting to see how this week goes. But this stretch is going to really dictate how this team ends up as this season progresses. They have 40 games. That's more than most teams have. They have the Vegas-Toronto back-to-back that I mentioned. We also have another back-to-back, Edmonton-Washington. That is never going to be easy. A Battle of Alberta matchup followed by the high-powered Washington Capitals. That'll be tough. There's 2 more games against the Vegas Golden Knights, who, let's be honest, we struggle against. And 3 against the deadly Colorado Avalanche, who are probably the hottest team in the Western Conference. So that's 5 against the top 2 teams in my consideration in the Western Conference in Vegas and Colorado. No easy task there. 2 more Battle of Albertas. I don't care if Edmonton is great or bad, or if Calgary is great or bad. The Battle of Alberta, everything gets thrown to the side, and it is a difficult difficult night to get 2 points out of. So those will be interesting. And this team ends, as much as we have home games now, we end this season with a 3-game road trip, which is Nashville, Minnesota, and Winnipeg. Nashville, who's good, Minnesota's good, and then Winnipeg. Who knows what you're going to get with Winnipeg? This team, in my estimations, is going to be a playoff team, and they have not panned out at all this year. So that'll be a real interesting road trip at the end of the year to finish the season off. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be something that we haven't seen. We're going to have nights almost every night where we're watching Flames hockey. And the scariest stat of all, this team plays 40 games in the next 80 nights. It's going to be really interesting.